It is fairly safe to say that, at the present time, there is an especially bewildering complexity of poetic tendencies, of kinds of poetry being written, of warring factions, of ways of presenting, criticizing, and teaching poetry, and of conflicting beliefs about the role of the poet in society. In Germany, over 100,000 tons of diapers are discarded each year, resulting in the wastage of valuable resources. Diaper liners, which contain special polymers known as superabsorbers, are among the materials that end up in landfills. However, researchers have made significant progress in enhancing the recycling process for these liners, leading to substantial improvements. Around 250 million years ago, 700 species of reptiles closely related to the modern-day crocodile roamed the Earth. Now new research reveals how a complex interplay between climate change, species competition, and habitat can help explain why just 23 species of crocodile survive today. All information you give should be relevant, so carefully consider the job for which you are applying. If you are applying for a job that is somewhat different than your current job, it is up to you to draw a connection for the resume reviewer so that they will understand how your skills will fit in their organization. The main objective is to introduce you to the skills required to take good photographs of people at special events, such as parties or weddings. We will discuss camera settings, dealing with very light or bad weather, and how to get a good atmosphere. Lunch is provided at a nearby hotel, followed by a practical session inside the studio. Virtue-based relationships are formed mostly during childhood, school days. Sometimes later, at college days, when we live in a state of blissful ignorance, or rather, fool paradise. But once one tastes the coldness of reality and learns to conduct oneself a successful professional, the circumstance demands one to have friendships on the basis of usefulness. There are some restrictions for solo skydiving. The maximum acceptable weight is 95 kilograms fully clothed, and a reasonable level of fitness is required. As far as age is concerned, the minimum is 16, and a parental signature of consent is required for students of 16 to 17 on 3 forms. Developing and maintaining healthy friendships involves give and take. Sometimes you're the one giving support, and other times you're on the receiving end. Letting friends know you care about them and appreciate them can help strengthen your bond. It combines theory with practice, ensuring that those who gain the certificate are capable of managing health and safety throughout each stage of the construction process, from planning and design to use and finally demolition. Most conversations are assumed to be in the open and can be heard by everybody. But true office Machiavellists will be pleased to learn that private chats are also possible, since can work out who is within earshot of whom and will transmit sound only to those who should be able to hear it. But Mercedes discovered that 75% of collisions classified as head-on crashes actually involved only a partial overlap between the vehicles. In the early 1980s, they began designing their cars with rigid front structures to prevent intrusion into the passenger compartment in these offset frontal crashes. The Marauder first appeared as a bright blip on a radar screen aboard a Canadian Forces Aurora surveillance aircraft. The plane had been in the air for 3 hours, patrolling the Pacific Ocean near the International Date Line northwest of Hawaii. The device senses gases by applying a steadily increasing voltage across its electrical leads and monitoring current spikes induced as gases react on the sensor's surface. Each gas reacts at a characteristic voltage, and the size of the current spike indicates the signature of several representative organic solvents. Paradoxically, the ethical arguments over the treatment of human remains, the ownership of artifacts and responsibility to future generations, all stem in part from archaeology's newfound scientific authority. Having eschewed their dubious forebears, archaeologists reinvented themselves as respectable scientists in search of truth.